Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DeLRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. The thumbs up button is always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel or hit the bell notification if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game. I'm going to get right into it. This question comes from a young brother from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the question is what do I think about Will Smith's new book in regards to him talking about his raging jealousy about Tupac Shakur and Jada Pinkett's relationship? Thank you, brother, for asking the question first and foremost. What I think about it, I think it's very interesting, to say the least. You know, here you have on one hand now who is one of the biggest superstars in the world, married to a very beautiful woman, Jada Pinkett Smith. And before Will had got with Jada, you know, the interesting part about that is Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith was already friends. And in fact, she wasn't even known as Jada Pinkett Smith, just Jada Pinkett, you know, out of Baltimore, Maryland. So, but Will Smith, you know, once he got with her, he said that he felt he had a raging jealousy in regards to their relationship. And I find that very interesting. I'm like, you know, how could you know, have this raging jealousy about somebody who knew somebody before you? So this goes into a little bit more of Will's psychological reasoning behind the way he felt and why he felt. You know, Will Smith recently had opened up about you know, the raging jealousy that he had suffered over Jada Pinkett Smith's relationship with Tupac in his book, like you're asking about. And in the book, Will Smith basically revealed that he was tortured by the connection of his now wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and how she developed the relationship with Tupac Shakur after they met at the Baltimore School of the Arts in the 1980s. And so, yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Tortured is a little bit much, but like I said, once again, Will is being honest about how he felt. You would have think that, you know, he caught her and Tupac in the bed together, you know, to use that word tortured, if you will. But like I said, his feelings are his feelings, and, you know, they are what they are. And Will basically, he goes on to say, though they were never intimate, the love for each other is legendary. They define ride or die, he wrote. In the beginning of our relationship, my mind was tortured by their connection. He was Pac and I was me. Wow. I find that contrast to be very interesting. You know, when he said he was Pac and I was me. And so what I don't understand is where Will Smith would find that Pac would be better than him in any kind of way, when in fact Will Smith was you know, doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? You know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he was doing all of those things. So what that tells me about an individual is you can have all of the success and things like that in the world, but like I said, how you truly feel about yourself is the most important thing. You know what I mean? So when he says that, I think that's interesting. Yeah. So what Will basically is saying is he couldn't handle the fact that he was him. I guess he thought of himself as a square, you know, and Tupac, you know, as this, you know, larger than life, you know, realer than real, thug, all of those things that you could possibly imagine Tupac being. You know, a ladies' man. The women loved him. But like I said, when you deal with it, the women also love Will Smith. So I don't really know, like I said, once again, where that comes from psychologically, when you deal with that, because everybody's different. And then Will Smith had went on to say the actor, he basically praised Tupac, his intoxicating and fearless passion, highlighting the rapper's willingness to fight and die for what he believed in was right. So, he definitely give Tupac his props, even though, he had ran into Tupac. He said he had ran into Tupac before, but would never really speak to him based on the fact that, Tupac and Jada was friends. I just find that, it just goes to show you how much people can hate you, and you not really know, or dislike you, and you not really know anything about that. You know what I mean? The things that people harbor deep inside, and they try to mask it with this fake love, or basically, not wanting to talk to you. And it's not really about nothing other than what they feel about themselves, and not really what they feel about you, and Will basically goes on to say, Pac was like Harry, Smith wrote, comparing Tupac Shakur to his younger brother. He was triggered the perception of myself as a coward. So basically, Will thought of himself as a coward compared to Tupac Shakur. I guess, Pac, he was a relentless dude. He was, the type of guy that definitely wouldn't hesitate to do what he wanted to do, to say what he wanted to say, and not, willing to play the game, to go along, to get along game as far as politically, you know what I mean, and what he felt, as a black man, and a lot of times, you see a lot of stars and things like that basically kind of fall in line, when we dealing with certain things in our community, and Tupac wasn't that guy, to make that, to show you the contrast. Tupac just wasn't that guy. And I think, Will kind of looked at himself and then looked at Tupac, as the polar opposite of who he was, you know what I mean, as a man. Then basically Will Smith, he goes further and basically shared that he felt insecure about Tupac's militant morality, especially as an actor, was self-critical regarding his inability to stand up to his father when he turned violent. So, like I said, Will Smith seemed like he had a lot of inner issues going on, you know what I mean? And, but I think that would be unfair for him to compare. But like I said, this is Will Smith speaking his truth in regards to that, and so I respect that. Once again, he basically said, I hated that I wasn't what he was in the world, and I suffered a raging jealousy. I wanted Jada to look at me like that, he wrote. Wow. Raging jealousy from a guy who's a multimillionaire, or who was a multimillionaire at that particular time. Amazing. It's amazing to know that, he's letting these feelings out, and how he, didn't like Tupac for no other reason, that he kept comparing himself to Tupac, in regards to his relationship with his then girlfriend, who became his wife later on. I find that so interesting. He said, Will Smith went on to say, basically, that he experienced a twisted kind of victory when his relationship with Pinkett Smith grew more serious, leading her to spend less time with Tupac Shakur. Wow. So this guy was really up against somebody who didn't know that he was even in competition with him. Will Smith was in competition with Tupac Shakur, and Tupac didn't even know nothing about it. Tupac was actually just being himself. I find that very, 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 very funny and interesting. Like, wow. So, he kind of felt like, when him and Jada's situation got more serious, he felt like he had won, and there was really nothing to win. Absolutely, positively nothing to win. But that just goes to show you, once again, how people can put things in their own head that have nothing to do with the reality of the situation that actually exists. And you got to be careful of that. And so, like I said, this just goes to show the human being in Will Smith, even though he basically saved the world twice, in his movies and things like that. And in real life, basically he needed to be saved. And I think, from his relationship with Jada Pinkett, he found somebody who was a little bit more rough around the edges. And I think who he found that Tupac spirit, that thing in a woman in Jada that, I guess, complimented who he was. And so they've been together for so many years. And hey, but yeah, I think this is very interesting. And so the book, I'm definitely gonna pick the book up. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then Will goes on to say, if she chose me over Tupac, there is no way I could be a coward. Will Smith wrote, I have rarely felt more validated. Wow. So Tupac was that much, had that much power over Will Smith's psyche, or should I say, in other words, Tupac had rented a whole lot of space in Will Smith's head in regards to his relationship with Jada Pinkett, and Will say he basically felt validated as a man, when Jada had chose him over Tupac. But the funny part is, I wonder if Jada ever told Will that, you were never in the running, or Tupac was never in the running. You guys were never competing for me. And basically, Jada chose Will because she liked Will. Not that she didn't like Tupac. You know what I mean? Tupac was his own man doing his own thing. And I'm sure Jada understood and knew that. Will also went on to say that while he was in the same room as Shakur on several occasions, he never spoke to him. Wow. That's crazy. That's the only part that I truly disagree with Will Smith on. And I feel like he was kind of, he already admitted he was kind of jealous of Tupac. You know what I mean? And yeah. So to the brother from Philadelphia, yeah, I think it's very interesting. These basically these excerpts from Will Smith's book. In regards to that, and I find it very interesting that he went there, and so I'm definitely gonna pick up the book, man. I want to definitely try to get a copy and read, all of the other stuff that's in the book. So yeah, but I just think, man, it's overall, wow. You talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know what I mean? Mr. Save the World, you know what I mean, and all of the other things that we can, give Ali, and all of the other things that we've come to know Will Smith as, being definitely a great actor, you know what I mean, a funny guy, and so on and so forth. Talking about him and Martin Lawrence, you know what I mean, in the movies that they've done, blockbuster, smash movies, right? But once again, that ought to teach each and every man that all of that really doesn't matter. You can have all the money in the world and be insecure. You can have all the money in the world and have a problem with jealousy, basically rage, and all of those other things in regards to situations that don't even matter, that haven't even spoken to any of the things that you might be feeling. You done created all of this nonsense in your head. So I find it interesting. To the brother from Philadelphia, I thank you for the question, man. I appreciate it. Your boy DeLRAY, straight gang.